In this part, I'm going to repair the rear part of the cabin, the support structure. And this is the one right here. And it's only that part actually. The rest is all part of the seating arrangement inside the cabin, so I will have to disconnect it. But if you've seen part number 4, then you might have seen that this whole unit fell out of the vehicle. And the reason why it fell out is that the back end, where the support of the cabin is, was totally rotted away. And those are the leftovers of the sills, the inner sill and the outer sill. I have a little bit over here, only the inner sill, the outer sill is totally gone. And there you have the support mounts onto the chassis, and that's the stuff I will fix first, because that is really going to be necessary. So we're going to build new brackets left and right, and we are going to mount this support rail in the back of the cabin and then reconnect the plate as you've seen just a few seconds ago. The whole box I will disconnect it, but before I do so I will take a few shots, because it's always good to take some pictures and then make some drawings, and then based on that you just mark the dimensions, because I won't remember all this once it's been taken apart, and it's already bad enough trying to figure out how the shape and the dimensions of the sills must have been. But it's doable, so let me get on with it. That should be good enough as a reference, so now I can start working. So I'm going to cut off this part first over here and on the other side. I do the same thing here. So that's disconnected. I did a pretty clean cut, so I know exactly where it is, so I'm going to mark it. This is the left, this is right, because I want to make sure that I don't lose these dependencies. It's been welded in place, so I may have to drill it out or grind it out. If you look carefully, you can actually see the spot welds. That's one. That's another one. And if you move it around, the rest has already been released. So these are 2 spot welds that are holding the bar still in place. So we're going to drill them out. It seems like it's been welded. It's welded inside, so I have to grind the weld away first, and hopefully I can get to it. There we go. Now we get it off. There we go. So that's the part we wanted to get off. So that's the part we can put aside now. We don't need this for the moment. That's something that will go back on the vehicle as soon as we have the sills repaired and the back support. And that's the part we will now need to rebuild. This is where the back plate is supported on. And on these points it's mounted to the chassis, and in fact the way it's done is like this. This is how it's mounted, a bolt and a bolt. So now I'll have to make these big brackets and those brackets, and then I have to make a new bar like this. So I wonder if I should grind it off or not. The next step is to cut off the bracket. So it's always good to mark how things fit together, because you might not remember. So that's what I'll do first. But this is how it's been. So I'm going to put a mark on, so I know exactly how it was done. And now it's time to straighten it up a bit. This one, it's the same story. Clean it up a little bit. Because there's still a plate underneath from the sill. I don't think it matters. I probably will leave it on because I can take the dimensions the way I need to. Alright, so the easiest way is a piece of paper and you just place the piece of metal on it. Now this is working fine just for straight metal, but if you have nice smooth bends it might be a bit different. And I'm just going to trace it. In fact, I might even do it straight on the metal plate, but I prefer to do it like this. We gently roll it over and mark where it needs to be folded, like so. And then I'll say this is the inner side, inner, and all what I need to do now is just to cut it out. And then we transfer it to the metal plate, we cut the plate, and we should be all set. And at the end, we just need to bend it. Not very difficult to do all this. There we go. Now don't forget, this is the one from the left hand side, so I have two sides, so I have to make sure I do it properly. So I will do this twice. Now for the other side I'm just going to flip it over and it's going to be exactly the same. So let me get the metal and then we get going. I already made one piece and I'm going to show you the next one. You can cut this with a shear or even with a jigsaw, so I'm going to show you this one, how you can cut it with a jigsaw. So you don't need very expensive tools to do this. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to clean it up. So that's it. So now we need to bend it. And that should be about right. Yes. So we're going to bend it and place it in the right spot. There we go. And that's the bend. Looks pretty good. Alright, so we've got the new piece, the old piece. As you can see, looks pretty good. I've got the left part and the right part built. All we have left now is to drill the holes in it, but that's the only thing left. And now we're going to make the brackets. Now the bracket's going to be a little bit more difficult. I can't bend it like this, so I will do it in 3 stages. A flat part, a little angle, and then straight again. And then I'm going to weld in these pieces on the side to make it stronger. So let's start on it. Meanwhile, I've been building those new supports. You can see one here. It's not exactly the same because this is really pressed, but the dimensions are the same. So I'm going to do it a little bit different, and you can't see it anyway because it's all the way underneath the cart. So let's put these up. And I'm using what they call magnets, and that's very handy for these small kind of things. So it keeps the boxes nicely together. And let me show you a little bit of a close-up so you can actually see it, what I'm doing. So these are the little metal plates I made, so I'm going to stick them on the side, and then I'll place a magnet inside, and that will hold the box together. Oops. Yeah, you got to do it right, and like this. You can just squeeze it. I have one more magnet. I'll stick one more up. And then we can hold it. Oops. So this way the boxes stick nicely together. And now I can start welding them. So we are ready to TIG weld the supports. That's not going to take too long, but TIG welding is not as fast as MIG or MAG, but you can do a very nice weld. Or at least I hope I will be able to do one. So folks, this is it for part 5. We've built the brackets, you've seen them. We also built the bigger support pieces. You can see the difference between the old and the new. And as you can tell, there is a big difference. There you go. Look at that. And then we have the pockets here. You know. By the way, I painted the new steel with zinc, kind of a zinc spray, because I don't want it to get rusty, because it's going to take a while before I put the final paint on. So it's kind of a protection thing. And that's it. All I have left is to drill holes in it. And then I'm ready for tomorrow when I'm gonna mount the big bar. You know, remember the long metal bar that goes in the back of the cabin? It's actually laying right in front of me. That's the one I'm gonna rebuild tomorrow, and then finally we'll be able to fit it onto the cabin. And then I have my support back on the cabin. Thank you for viewing, and keep watching for part number 6. Oh, and by the way, I used steel, 1.5 millimeter steel. It's about the same size as the original steel that was used, although on the original side you can't really tell anymore because it's so rusty, but I think it's exactly the same. So, and that's it. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye bye.